Everybody, welcome back. In this video, we're going to have a little heart-to-heart talk about living in the end and the two things that's really keeping you from living in the end. You might think you're living in the end, but you're really not. So you're going to want to watch this video. I'm going to try to keep it short, sweet, to the point. But if you're really not manifesting the life you want, if you're really not getting things that you want fast enough, or you just think that it's not working, what's really slowing it down, watch this video, because the whole point of Neville Goddard, the whole point of law of assumption is this. You set an intention, you go inside your imagination, and inside your imagination, you act as if you live in the end. You assume your assumption is true. You assume what you want is already happened and is true, and you live in the end, dwell in the end. That's the whole point of law of assumption. Now, one of the things with living in the end, when I set intentions, I kind of have a habit of setting really hard intentions. Okay, I set big intentions. I set intentions and goals and wants and desires that when you start controlling the how, when you start trying to micromanage, your conscious mind can't figure it out. Those are types of intentions I set. And that's the first thing we're going to talk about here is controlling the how. If you're controlling the how, if you're trying to micromanage like where your wants and desires is coming from, you're trying to figure out in your conscious mind, your waking mind, like how it's going to come to you. For example, if you want money, okay, you want a desired salary, maybe you want to be a millionaire, or maybe you want to double your salary, double your income, whatever it is. If it's about money, lots of times what happens when you start controlling the how, when you wake up during the day, your conscious mind you're constantly looking for the how. You're constantly looking for how can I make this happen? How can I double my salary? And you start looking for ways to do it. That's controlling the how. So if you're controlling the how, you're not living in the end. You're not dwelling in the end if you're constantly during your waking hours trying to look for opportunities. Because when you control the how, all that does is reminds you that your intention is not here yet. All it does is remind you don't have what you want. And that's not the point of living the end. Living the end and dwelling in the end is acting as if it's already occurred. So you need to act as if you want, your attention is you already have it. So if you already have it, you're not going to be micromanaging. If you already have what you want, you're not going to be controlling the how because you already have it. It's already now in your life. So you're not going to be waking up trying to look for it. I'll give you one more little example, then we're going to move on to part 2 here. And I'm going to give you some simple examples, meaning like, let's say, for example, if I want to go viral on YouTube or I want a video to go viral, but I'm not going to wake up every day and check my YouTube channel, go on the computer and check my subscribers and check videos and see how many views I got. I'm not going to do that. If that's my intention, going viral on YouTube has already happened, already occurred. So how am I going to carry myself throughout the day? That's the question we're living in the end. How am I going to carry myself throughout the day? What am I going to do throughout the day to remind myself that I already went viral? It already happened and occurred. If I'm waking up doing my bad habits, all it's doing is reminding me that I don't have what I want. I don't have my attention yet. So now this kind of goes into part 2 here. Part 2, the reason why you're not living in the end is because your decisions in your present life, my decisions right now are not aligned with living the end, are not aligned with dwelling in the end. So what do I mean by that? It's all on like vibrational frequency. Okay, look at it this way. Like living in the end is here. This is what you want, and it's on a different frequency. It's on a different vibration. And your decisions, if it's not aligned with what you want, your decisions are off. So you kind of like this. This is your current life and current decisions you're making. This is what you want down here. But what you want, if we're talking about money, you want a dream life, your dream car, dream house, doesn't matter what it is. It's on a different frequency. It's on a different vibrational plane. Okay, you're making decisions. Your life down here, when you live in the end, you're making different decisions than you're making in your present life. So they're off. Okay, what we need to do here and live in the end, we need to get these congruent. We need to get these on the same level plane. So you need your decisions up here you make in your present life, it needs to come down on the same plane, on the same frequency level, on the same vibrational level as what you want. The best way to explain this is let's use money again. I hate to use money all the time, but I think it's an easier example. A lot of people want more money. That's the kind of the big domino effect. More money make your life easier. More money, you can play a bigger game. You can help more people. More money is, if you're a nice person, you become a nicer person. Okay, if you're a giver, you become a bigger giver. You can help more people. That's the bottom line. But let's use money here. If I want to be a millionaire, I have to make decisions in my present life as if I'm already a millionaire. So what you have to do is, when you start living in the end, you start being aware of your actions, your thinking patterns, what you're thinking about through the day, the actions you're taking. And most of our actions are habit. We're doing things by habit. What we think about is habit. If our mind goes in the gutter, that's a habit. Once we wake up in the morning, it starts. You know what I mean? Our subconscious habits kind of kick in, and most of the time we go throughout our day and we don't even notice it. We don't even notice our habits, our negative thinking patterns, or our negative decision making throughout the day. We don't really notice it because we're not aware of it. Once you start living in the end and you start doing these exercises, what happens is you start becoming aware. And a lot of times with people, when they start becoming aware, they get frustrated. They start seeing like, dude, I'm doing all this stuff, and they get overly frustrated, and then they quit, or they think this don't work, or they think it's too hard. Okay, but now let's kind of flip back and really talk about how do we make our decisions congruent with living in the end, dwelling in the end. Now, this is what I mean. If I want to be a millionaire, am I going to wake up every day, and if I have to pay my bills today, am I going to flip out, have a mental breakdown, or like a lot of this can be secret. It's not like I'm physically having a temper tantrum. Lot of, when we're an adult, a lot of what goes on is secret. We're thinking about it. Okay, am I going to have like little secret mental breakdowns, or have anxiety or stress, or say negative things when I start paying my bills? Probably not. If I had $1 million on a bank right now, if you had $1 million on a bank right now, you're probably not going to be stressed. You know what I mean? When you go out to eat, you're just going to look at the menu and choose what you want. You're not going to look at the price first. You're just going to pick what you want and choose it. You're not going to look at the price and say, oh, this is expensive. Or best yet, when you go out to eat with a friend, throughout, we all go out and eat with our friends, and we've all fell in this moment, at least once in our life, where we're kind of sitting there thinking to ourselves, who's going to pay? Am I going to pay for the whole thing? Are we going to split the bill? I don't want to pay for the whole thing. Okay, we're not going to be thinking that way if you had $1 million in the bank. Or let's say we go to a really fancy restaurant and we went out with a group of friends, and you don't know who's going to pay, if we're going to split. So maybe it's a restaurant where you have to like go up to that, actually check out and actually pay, and you're standing there, but you find yourself kind of you're doing it on purpose, but you kind of like slowly kind of like drifting yourself back to the back, hoping somebody else will step forward and pay. Or you're really slow, kind of taking out your wallet, because you're kind of like being passive aggressive a little bit. You're kind of like slowing everything down, hoping somebody else jumps to the gun over you. Okay, those are poverty habits. If you had $1 million in the bank, are you going to be doing that? Well, no. Okay, now when you're living in the end, this is what I mean. Your decisions are aligned with living in the end. Now, if you want to be a millionaire and you're living in the end, what that means is you act like a millionaire. Millions of dollars are already yours. So your decisions you're making right now, you need to be able to control, and you need to be able to fix. Okay, you need to act as if you had $1 million in the bank right now. So what that means is, when I pay my bills, maybe you come up with an affirmation every time you pay your bills, like, thank you, Father, that I'll always have enough money to pay my bills. Thank you, Father, I'll have abundance of money left over after I pay my bills. To help train you to stop thinking negative. That's why all these daily exercises that we do, maybe scripting, affirmations, little short meditations, kind of help you kind of control the negative thinking. And right here, I'm going to attach a video I did that goes very, very detailed on dwelling in the end. And it comes from Neville Goddard, and it comes from his one of his students tells a very, very specific story on how to dwell in the inn. I'm going to post it here for you to check out. This is a must watch because this really kind of aligns with what we're talking about right now. And the great thing that Neville Goddard said, you have to persist in your assumption. And what that means is you have to persist in what you want. Your assumption is what you want, your attention. You go inside your imagination, you live in. You have to persist in it. Your mind's going to drift off. You're going to drift off and start thinking negative. You're going to drift off and start controlling the how. But once you notice it, once you become aware of it, you say an affirmation, or you just stop that thought altogether, and you come right back to living the end. You come right back to inside your imagination what your intention is. And one of the things, before we go here, one of the things I wanted to share with you is that when I do these exercises, and I live in an inn, dwell in the inn, and especially about money, one of the things when I have my bedtime routine and I go inside my imagination and I try my best to drift off to sleep in that state, it's difficult, let me tell you. Sometimes I really get into it and I really have that feeling, but I don't go to sleep. And I find myself like, dude, just go to sleep, Chad, just go to sleep. But then I don't go to sleep. I'm so wide awake. But one of the things I notice is like when I go inside my imagination, especially it's about money, being a millionaire, is what I start noticing is inside my imagination, and this happens just natural, like I'm actually a different person inside my imagination. I'm carrying myself as a different person. No, I'm still Chad. I still have my personality. I'm still kind of goofy and funny, stuff like that. But I'm carrying myself different inside my imagination than I do in my present life. And that's what I'm talking about, is your decisions have to be aligned with that same person you are living the end. Once you start aligning your decisions, and it happens slowly, once you start aligning it and you're getting closer and closer and closer, what you start noticing is you just start having like kind of intuitive thoughts. You will start having habit thoughts that basically just come to you without force. You're not forcing it. Okay, it just comes to you. Where maybe you go to the mall. This actually happened to me. Now it's happening more and more and more to me. Is if I go to the mall, I'm just like walking around looking at things. I'm not forcing my thoughts, and all of a sudden I'll see something, and I'll say to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna buy that for my home." But what I'm referring to is my dream house inside my imagination. But it's starting to kind of come out just natural in my natural talk now. Or I might be talking to somebody and I say, "Oh, why don't we go out and eat for sushi? Now, don't worry about the price. Have a great place we can go to." But in my mind, I'm thinking I'm already a millionaire. Oh, I'll treat you out. And what's happening is it's starting to happen just natural. It's starting to just come to me. Right? I'm not forcing the thought. Okay, like in the beginning when we have our bedtime routine, everything is kind of forced in the beginning. We're forcing our affirmations. We're forcing ourselves to think about our intention. We're forcing it inside of our imagination because we're trying to develop a routine. But once we develop a routine, that's when, once it starts to become natural and you're not thinking about it so much and the thoughts are just coming to you freely, that's when all this stuff becomes more powerful, and you start seeing things kind of come into your life rather quickly. But other than that, my friends, this video lasted way longer than I thought. But I just want to share those two things with you to help you out. If you have questions, comment below. Let me know how this is going. Let me know your thoughts, your positive, negatives. If you believe this stuff, if you don't, if you've done all these exercises, how's it going? This is a community, by the way. So we all helping each other. We're all at different stages. And on top of that, we all have different habits that work for us and don't work for us. So my habits are not your habits, and your habits are not my habits. So we can help each other out. But other than that, stay in the game, persist in the assumption, persist in living the end and dwelling the end, and you're actually will get better at this. But it takes a little bit of work because we're not in a habit of doing this. So you have to do it long enough until you actually get into a habit. So other than that, stay in the game. I'll see you in the next video.